Hey up, I'm the Yorkshire Time Lord, and these are my thoughts on the Sarah Jane Adventures return announcement. Okay, so Big Finish drops this hugely exciting announcement, and that's that the Sarah Jane Adventures is going to be returning on audio. So the Big Finish to bring back the Sarah Jane Adventures in a series of audios called Rani Chandra Takes on the Road. And basically these box sets both come out next year in 2023. So a great way, a great addition to the 60th anniversary celebrations next year. And for the first box set, we've got 3 confirmed episode titles. So we've got Here Today, Destination Reading, and we've also got The Witching Tree as well. And we've got Daniel Anthony returning as Clyde Langer, and Meena Anwar returning as Rani's mum, Geeta Chandra, and also obviously Anjali Mahindra as Rani Chandra as well. And I just think this is hugely exciting because the Sarah Jane Adventures was such a big part of my childhood. I hugely enjoyed that show, especially the way that it was able to take these really dark adult themes such as homelessness and human trafficking and present them in the context of a children's show. It made it feel really grown up, and it made it feel like it wasn't talking down to the audience, but it was treating them like equals, which I thought was a really great approach for a Doctor Who BBC spin-off. And I'm glad that Daniel Anthony is returning as Clyde Langer as well. I thought he was absolutely brilliant as Clyde Langer. He was absolutely my favourite of the original Sarah Jane Adventures gang. I liked the way that he brought a bit of light relief with his comedic, one-liners and banter, but he also had this really kind of human side to him as well. He brought the heart to the show because he went through some really dark stuff. Obviously, the homelessness storyline I've already mentioned in The Curse of Clyde Langer, where he was cursed by a totem pole, and his own friends and family disowned him. That's really quite dark, the way they just all disowned him over nothing. I mean, you think what that kid would have been going through if that was real. But Daniel Anthony played that to perfection, and I really, really felt sorry for him, the way he was going through all that homelessness. I really felt for that character. It was really such a moving watch because Daniel Anthony's performance was absolutely fantastic in that episode. And he had another great one as well in the Mark of the Berserker, when his absentee dad returned. Basically, his dad had been out of his life for so long, and he just suddenly comes back into his life, and he's a bit of a jerk, and Clyde Langer's, what you're doing, he's not very happy about it, and you really feel for that kid because he only had his mum to raise him. He didn't have a dad, and suddenly his dad just comes back into his life like that, like nothing's happened. It's really quite crazy. You really feel for Clyde Langer. Meena Anwar and Anjali Mahindra were great as well in the Sarah Jane Adventures. Meena Anwar was quite comical as Geeta Chandra, with her reactions to all the strange things that were going on in the Sarah Jane Adventures. And Anjali Mahindra was, really great at playing this, really strong, independent young girl who, wanted to follow in Sarah Jane's footsteps. And I'm glad they're carrying on the same stuff from the expanded media. This idea that Rani Chandra's now a journalist herself, very much like Sarah Jane Smith, carrying on her legacy and investigating sort of alien events going on around the world. I'm glad they're carrying that on and having her do that in these new box sets. So and I noticed as well that Big Finish has said that there will be other Sarah Jane Adventures characters crossing over into these audio releases as well. So I hope we get to see the return of the Trickster, because I thought the Trickster was such a great villain. I just loved the whole idea of a monster that can change reality so that events happen differently. And that episode where Sarah Jane swaps places with her friend who fell off a pier, and so she ends up dying instead of her friend. I thought that was such a great watch, such an emotional watch, and I thought it just showed how the amount of potential that the Trickster had within the Doctor Who universe. And I was surprised that the Trickster never actually returned they never actually appeared in the main show. Because it would have been such a natural fit for Turn Left, especially when you had the Time Beetle, which is part of the Trickster's Brigade, and the Time Beetle changed reality so that Donna Noble turned right instead of left. And you had things like the Titanic crashing into Buckingham Palace because the Doctor wasn't there to stop it. I thought the Trickster could have fitted into that story quite naturally, really. So I'm surprised that the Trickster didn't actually appear in the Doctor Who in the Doctor Who series itself. So it would be great to see the return of the Trickster in these Sarah Jane Adventures audio releases. And then there's Tommy Knight I'd like to see return as well, who played Luke Smith. I think having him come back in his audios would be a great way to carry on the legacy of Sarah Jane Smith, with him being the son of Sarah Jane. And I'd really like to hear more about how what Luke and K9 got up to after the events of Sarah Jane Adventures. Maybe have Luke return with K9 and explore how university went for Luke and what he's doing now. I think that would be really great to hear. And then there's Katie Manning as Jo Grant as well, who I think would be a really natural fit for these Big Finish audios. Rani, of course, met Jo Grant, who's now known as Jo Jones, because she married Clifford Jones from the Green Death in Death of the Doctor. So they already know each other, and they met each other recently as well in the 8th of March, where they teamed up on a unit mission. So it would be really great to hear them cross paths again. I think Jo Grant would make for a really great mentor figure for Rani Chandra, basically showing her what life looks like beyond Bannerman Road, and introducing her to the sort of weird alien events going on outside of the UK, going on across the world. I think she'd be a really natural fit for that side of things. Especially as Jo Grant does, she travels a lot as well. She's, she does a lot of globe-trotting, so she would be, really kind of natural fit for that side of things. And I think she could fit into either box set as well, especially, the first box set, which is called Beyond Bannerman Road. It would sort of, fit into that theme of, exploring what, Rani's adventures look like beyond Bannerman Road. So it would sort of fit into that theme as well. Or they could have her, pop up in a second box set if they feel like, there's already too many legacy characters, with Clyde and with Jeter in the first box set. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Sarah Jane Adventures return to audio? Are you looking forward to these box sets? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.